we have with us BJP MLA from Churachandpur, Mr. Paolienlal Haokip, who is also from the tribal Kuki community, to talk to us about what is happening in Manipur and what needs to be done. Welcome to the print, sir.
Thank you, Mosmi. It's a pleasure talking to you.
So it's been 19 months since violence broke out in Manipur. Uh, as an elected representative from the ruling party, what do you think needs to be done to restore normalcy in the state?
Well, Mosmi, I have said this umpteen times. What needs to be done, to my mind, is for the center to take control because we are in a state where the state has lost its legitimacy because it has been communalized. The state forces have been communalized. It no longer enjoys the authority it should enjoy, which is unfortunate. And the big question that has faced Manipur 17 months, let's say 17 months out of the past 19 months, has been uh, why is the center shying away from acting firmly to re-establish the authority of the state in the, and the state, I mean the sovereign state of India? Why has a chief minister who has divided the people of the state on communal lines and communalized the state apparatus not been removed? So the way forward, I've said it up many times, is to bring in president's rule in the state and to engage in political dialogue with the parties concerned to find the way forward.
So, as an elected representative, because out of the 37 BJP MLAs right now, 7 are from the Kuki community. So, have the elected representatives from the Kuki community, made some kind of an outreach to the elected representatives from Methi communities for a dialogue?
Mostly, that would not be something we consider can be fruitful because, uh, as you are aware, the elected representatives from the valley, counterparts in the party, including those in the ruling alliance, as you were aware, have been summoned by a militia outfit like the Arambai Tengok at Kangla Fort and made to take an oath before a militia. Now, we have taken an oath in the assembly to uphold the constitution. Now, what good would it bring forth for us to engage with such MLAs who have taken an oath before a militia? So that option obviously is not something we consider would be fruitful.
So the 10 Kuki MLAs have in August 2023, last year, I mean, after the violence broke out, they had given a representation to the Prime Minister saying that, they have lost trust in the state government under the leadership of Chief Minister Biren Singh, and also they demanded for separate administration. So if the Kuki MLAs have given that representation from to the Prime Minister, then what is preventing them from resigning and saying that, okay, we don't want to be part of this government?
We are no longer part of this government, and if ever there is a vote of confidence, our intentions have been made clear from the 15th of May 2023, saying that we no longer believe in the leadership of the chief minister. Now, we are representing the political aspirations of our people. And until and unless we fail them in representing their political aspiration, we are the elected representatives, and it is our duty to represent their political aspirations and stand firm on that. Resigning would be abdicating that responsibility.
And have you also reached out to the central leadership that why is nothing being done for so long? Why has the situation allowed to continue to go on like this for 19 months?
Mostly, it is really a very sad thing. I fail to find reasons as to why the center has failed to act this far. And most importantly, I fail to understand as to why the Union Home Minister, if not the Prime Minister, is refusing to interact with us to see the problem from our perspective. Why is he only listening to his cooperative chief minister and not hearing both sides? That is the question that has been bugging my mind for so long. And I'm sure it bugs all sensible minds in the country.
So the Ministry of Home Affairs had called a joint meeting last month, October 15. Basically a joint meeting of both Methi and Kuki MLAs, as also the Naga MLAs, to sit down, discuss, and come up with some kind of a solution to restore normalcy. But in that meeting, the Kuki MLAs and the Methi MLAs did not sit together. It was not a joint meeting. So if there is a lack of understanding even at that level, what is behind it?
Mostly, first thing, what can be expected of a meeting between MLAs of all communities when the conflict is between two communities? One, if there has to be a meeting, uh, the intent of the meeting should be made clear, whether it is to bring about a resolution of the crisis. Now, uh, if you ask me, the meeting you referred to has not even been formally called. I, as an elected representative, did not receive any intimation about that meeting. It's just a passed on message from a fellow colleague who has received some random call from a ministry of the home office, the home ministry, an official of the home ministry. Now, the state has been burning for 19 months now, and if there needs to be a meeting, a formal invite from the home minister's office, at least, is what would show seriousness to resolve the conflict. Now, a home ministry official just calling around, WhatsApping messages to people. Is that how you call a meeting for such a serious matter? One. Number two, if the center cannot and is not going to present a proposed part of resolution, what's the point in the meeting of elected representatives of the conflicting communities? Now, let's assume that the Home Ministry or the Home Minister's office convene a formal meeting. I'm not averse to meeting my counterparts in the valley because I want to request them to understand the gravity of the situation, and I want to convince them that they should not oppose our demand for a separate administration because that is the only way forward wherein we can begin to learn to live as good neighbors. Because the past 19 months has created deep wounds, deep divides within the society. It is unimaginable for my people to go back to the status quo wherein every development fund, every proposal for improvement of lives has to go through a biased majority establishment.
Have you heard from anybody in the central leadership? As in, has anybody from the central leadership reached out to you in the last 19 months, asking for your views, asking for ways to, break the deadlock, restore normalcy?
Yeah, early on, I have interacted with some leaders, and I have aired my views, and they have listened through it. But I haven't seen anything uh, being acted on, which is unfortunate.
And you also think, sir, that I mean, can Manipur go back to what it was pre May 3rd, 2023, wherein, both the tribal community and the Metis, tribal Kuki community and the Methi community living together in the valley, in the hills? Is
Uh,
it possible?
Mostly that has been proven unpracticable because of the bias, the majoritarian bias that have been witnessed in the state since 1972. And May 3rd was just a spark to the underlying schisms that existed. Whatever constitutional provisions there, that were put there by the framers of a constitution, have been uh, denied to the tribal communities. That is why the Naga insurgency, that is why the Kuki insurgency. So it was a long struggle for equal rights under the constitution. And then, ever since this particular chief minister has come to power, he has indirectly allowed or encouraged the building of a malignant narrative against uh, particular community within the state, and that actually triggered off the violent conflict. So it is unimaginable for the state to return to status quo now. It could have been salvaged within the first 2 months, but now the kind of hatred that has been generated for the past 19 months, forget about prior to 3rd of May, the kind of the number of deaths that have occurred, the displacement, the suffering of the people, and the kind of hatred that has been ingrained in the valley populace by elements that are supported and are hand in glove with the establishment there. So status quo would not be acceptable.
So you don't think that dialogue can help, restore normalcy as we go ahead? Because demand for separate administration, I mean, do you think that, I mean, that's the only justifiable solution? Because at this rate, I mean, something flares up in any other state, and there would be, I mean, there's a likelihood of such demands coming in then also.
Mostly, let me put it this way. Given the situation in Manipur, and you have covered it from the beginning, you know the situation, the internal dynamics, and all that, the denial of political rights to tribals, the denial, the unequal distribution of development and resources. You know all the background behind the conflict. Now, just because the Kukizo community in Manipur uh, needs to have a separate administration because of the political circumstances, it doesn't mean that it gives everybody the right to demand such a similar settlement. Ours is an existential crisis. The state backed forces are bent on decimating our entire population, and we need the protection of the Indian state in the form of a separate administration. That does not mean that every Tom, Dick, and Harry or every community here or there can claim that right or should claim that right.
So how do you see things unfold as we go ahead?
I think the onus squarely is on the central, government unless they come up with a proposed settlement through dialogue. I don't see end to the violence coming soon, because let me put it very clear here. The initial 4 or 5 days, most of the violence was perpetrated on our people within the valley and some retaliations in the hills. Thereafter, Mosme, please note this. All the Meitei militia that were dead after the initial few weeks died within the hill areas because they came attacking on the hill settlements of our people. Our volunteers, our village volunteers, have never ever crossed the buffer zones to attack Meitei settlements. So, where is the violence generating from? And study the pattern of escalation of violence. And if you link it to political developments, whenever the chair of the chief minister becomes shaky, violence erupted. That is the kind of blackmail politics that is being played on the center. And if the center chooses to be taken in by such theatrics and ignore uh, engaging both communities in dialogue, then the problem, unfortunate as it may sound, is bound to continue because the onus is on the center to take the initiative.
Thank you so much, sir, for talking to us.
Thank you, Mosme. Always a pleasure.